Okay, you've seen me playing this game a bit. I've been really into it lately. This is what we're doing today. We doing an SNK versus Capcom Chaos tier list. So in alphabetical order, first up is Akuma. Got great combos, great mobility. This is the regular Akuma with the demon flip. It's got great corner pressure and Oki. Akuma is an A tier. Next up we got Balrog. It's got decent charge moves. It's like a good anti-charge move charge character. And his mobility isn't bad, but he has no projectile like zoning options, no like ranged options in a game where a lot of characters are going to spam that kind of thing. He's kind of a C tier. He's lacking, he has a lot of issues. Choi, good speed, good specials, pretty annoying character, very usable, although he does have very low health and kind of bad range. He's one of the better C tiers, but I think he's still a C tier. Chun-Li, on the other hand, has a very solid kit. Kit is not lacking in just about any way. Good ability to cross up, great buttons, great supers, great specials. This will be our first S tier character. Next up is Dan. Dan is Dan. He's lacking to all the other Shotos in the game. He does have pretty usable supers, but overall not a good character. Very much a C tier. I would even say Balrog's probably better than him. Next up, Dimitri. While this is definitely an unfinished character and it has a lot of janky stuff to it, it's also pretty broken. It's an S tier for me, no doubt. Dalsim, we're going to throw into B tier. He's a decent zoning character with the stretchy limbs and the fireball, but he has some jank to him with his hitboxes, and it doesn't always work in his favor for sure. He's good, but couple issues. Earthquake, I would say, is a little better than that. We're going to put him in A tier. He's huge, but he's super gimmicky and very much usable. He has good supers and he can surprise you. He's definitely annoying and scummy, but he works in this game. Next up we got Geese. This is the character that the S plus tier is made for. This version of Geese in this game is by far the best character in the game. He just overall trumps all the other characters so much that he's pretty unfun to play against, and so he goes in the S plus ban-worthy tier. Genjiro, one of the characters I wish was a lot better in this game. We're going to put him in D tier. He's really slow. Startup on a lot of his moves is slow. He's just clunky feeling with bad lows and overall damage. Dan is actually probably even better than him. I really don't like how Genjiro plays in this game. Speaking of characters I don't like how they play in this game, Gonitz. He's going into S tier. I'm going to put him behind Chun-Li, but he's definitely got the potential to be right there with all the S tier characters. I would say he's probably the most annoying zoner in the game. It's debatable, but and he's got an overall just really good kit. When you do get in on him, he kind of dies a little easy, but he's in S tier, so don't think it's too easy. Guile, he's got great charge specials, great buttons. His supers are a huge pain in the butt to use, and he's not like broken like some of the S tiers, but he's definitely a solid A. Next up, Hugo. He's huge in this game, too big, and he's not gimmicky like Earthquake. Overall, he has a lot of issues. Probably even worse than Genjiro. Yeah, I would say even worse than Genjiro. And you know what else I'm going to say? I'm moving Choi up. So, if you've been watching and you've seen me put Choi in C tier and disagree and left me an angry comment, you gotta subscribe now. Don't delete your comment either. Now we got Iori. Does a lot of things really well. Good balance kit with rushdown and zoning options. Definitely a good solid A tier. I would say probably a little better than Guile. Actually, probably the best one we've talked about so far. Kasumi is an interesting and playable character, but like kind of weird, good combo potential, but like relies on counters too much. We're gonna throw her in the B tier. Ken is S tier for me. I'm gonna put him behind some of the other S tiers intentionally because he's not like got boss brokenness like Dimitri does, but he doesn't do anything badly. Like there's nothing wrong with his kit. Maybe some of the other Shotos have better projectile than his, but there's nothing wrong with this Ken. Kim, I would say the same thing about. There's nothing wrong with this character at all besides it doesn't have a projectile and is like lacking some range options. I probably put him in about between Guile and Akuma. Speaking of solid, so is Kyo, kind of a little more damage potential. He's kind of in the same boat as Iori. I'm put them two like neck and neck, 1A, 1B. Matter of fact, I'll even give Kyo the slight edge just to give his character some props, because there's two Ioris in this game. They're very much similar though. I'd say one of the most easy to play and fun characters. She kind of dies a little easy for the damage that she does, but I'd say she's probably one of the best B tier. She's about almost A tier. If there's a B plus, this would be definitely a B plus. Kind of like Choi would be a C plus, but I'd put him in B. Matter of fact, she's better than Choi. For sure. She's probably better than Dawson too. Mars people. Pretty slow and hard to play at first, but he sees a lot of high level play. I'm going to put him right there behind Ken, although some top level players would probably disagree with that. M. Bison. He has a very limited kit. He does have like really good damage, but there's just a lot of issues. I would say, yeah, he probably at the top of the C tier, but he's not great. Mr. Karate, super balanced, super fair and honest. Honestly, he's like the embodiment of what I would call A tier. I'd probably put him right in the middle of A tier, right smack in the middle. Orochi Iori. So this is why I gave Kyo the tiebreaker in their tie. This is one of the better characters in the game for sure. I'm gonna put him currently at the top of S tier. He's so fast and just he's ruthless. He's awesome to see people go off with Orochi Iori. Next we got Red Armorer, who is my choice of character when I want to be super annoying. His screen control is just stupid. He has some kind of like slow buttons, and he's great in a lot of ways. Like he has a really broken fireball. He's definitely an S tier, but he does have a couple of issues. I would say he's probably not even as good as Mars people. Zero, at a high level, definitely a bannable character, but he does have really low damage and low health, and just to single out Geese as the single best character in the game, he's truly the only character that when somebody selects, I'm like, oh, come on. I'm gonna put Zero at the top of S tier. Rio is a very good character. I see him played a lot, but he's very easy to punish and meter hungry. I'd say he's probably better than Mai, but he's gonna go at the top of my B tier. Some people might be mad that I technically have Earthquake over Rio, but I'm gonna do the same thing with Ryu and just, consider the fact that there's a lot of Shotos in this game and most of them are better than this Ryu right here. So they're good and usable, but they're like not as strong as the characters above them, and that's a pretty big but. And then you have like Sagat, who has a few janky hitboxes and some other things wrong with him. He's a good zoner and a Shoto in his own right, but there's just few issues. Like M. Bison, it's not like there's not potential, but there's a lot of other characters that you can pick that are better than Sagat. Shiki is a character that I really enjoy playing. Got great kit and great movement, but I gotta admit, really big butt. Her damage is terrible. I'm actually gonna put her towards the back of this tier, maybe above Dawson, maybe behind Dawson. Next, we got the serious Mr. Karate, not to be confused with Mr. Karate that we've already talked about. This character is actually not improved as far as I can tell. Some people just say that this is one of the hardest characters in the game, but for me, Mr. Karate is so balanced that I would probably just rather pick the regular Mr. Karate. I'm gonna put him somewhere in the Dan range, and maybe I need to be educated on that, but that's where he's going in my tier list. Now, Terry I think is one of the best characters in the game, honestly. I'm putting him right above Dimitri. His kit is just basically the all-around kit. It does everything pretty well. One of the easiest characters to pick up, one of the best, one of the most consistently played characters. He's got all the makings of an S tier. Then we got Shin Akuma, which Akuma is in A tier, and this is just crashed out Akuma. He's put him right behind Orochi Iori, but he's nuts. The crazy fireballs, the only thing that he's lacking is he doesn't have Demon Flip, but he can do so many just insane looking things on the screen that he doesn't need it. Tessa is another S tier. I'm gonna put her, she's one of the best characters in the game, but I want to put Terry a little bit above her because she's also one of the hardest to use characters in the game at a high level, and it's really unique mechanics like her ghosts and stuff that make her such a top tier character. Vega is a character that's super hard to use, definitely has a few issues, some really awesome good points and some kind of bad points. So while there are issues, I'm not gonna put him in C tier, I'm gonna put him at the bottom of B tier. Next we got Violent Ken. I definitely think this is one of the best characters in the game. Gonna put him right there. With your S tiers, probably, yeah, he's better than, he's right in here. I mean, I do see some players prefer regular Ken over Violent Ken, but this Ken can teleport. His damage is not, I think the Violent Ken is on a different level than regular Ken, but they're both really usable top tier characters. And then the D tier, it honestly exists just for Athena. That's right, Athena has probably the most issues in the game. She only has 2 normal buttons that duplicate. She is extremely predictable, one-trick pony type of character, and just overall dies to the main mechanic in this game, which I think it's her lack of options and the fact that she dies the front step that just make her overall known as unusable basically in this game. So she's the sole reason that the D tier exists, and let's give a quick overview to the whole tier list. So here we have the final results, my tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Make sure you drop the like and subscribe, especially if you're still watching at the end of the video. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.